What made you wish Pokemon never existed? Dad had collected Pokemon cards since the 90s. During chemo, he taught us all about his collection. My brother Danny and I would spread cards across his hospital bed, while Dad told us stories about each card. Even when he was too weak to shuffle, he'd point and we'd move them for him. Those cards were the only thing that made him smile near the end. After Dad died, Danny inherited the collection. He turned his apartment into a memorial with perfect lighting and climate control. Every Saturday, he'd host viewings, telling Dad's stories exactly how Dad told them. Everyone praised him for keeping Dad's memory alive. Mom would tear up watching him. "It's like having Dad back," she'd say. That's when Dad's old collecting buddy studied the display cases. "Your father had such beautiful cards," he said. "Almost a perfect base set, too." Danny beamed with pride. "Almost?" Dad's friend pointed to an empty slot in the main binder. "First edition Charizard. Your dad searched 20 years for that one. Never could find it." I watched Danny's face change. His fingers pressed against the display glass right where the empty slot was. 20 years? The words came out strangled. After that, Danny spent 3 days staring at photos of the empty slot. Then he announced he was going to find the card. Started with our local shop where the owner knew Dad. When that failed, he tried every shop in the city. He joined online forums and introduced himself the same way everywhere. My dad searched 20 years for a first edition Charizard, and I'm finishing his quest. Soon he was refreshing eBay every few minutes and bidding on cards he couldn't afford. He spent his entire savings on 3 near-mint versions that weren't perfect enough. At tournaments, he'd walk table to table asking if anyone had one for trade. People started avoiding him. I went with him to Atlantic City, where he'd heard a dealer had a perfect one. The guy's booth had it in a bulletproof case with a $50,000 price tag. "That's triple what it's worth," Danny said. The dealer looked him up and down and smirked. "Then go buy someone else's." Danny's hands shook. "This is for my dead father and you're gouging me." The dealer laughed. "Cry me a river, kid." Danny grabbed the case and yanked it. "You're everything wrong with this hobby." Security had to pry his hands off while he screamed about scalpers destroying Dad's legacy. In the parking lot, he wouldn't stop staring at the dealer's business card. Danny called me 2 weeks later at midnight. "I found where that dealer Jeff lives," he said. His voice was flat like he was ordering pizza. "I'm going to talk to him about Dad." He hung up before I could respond. I drove to his apartment and found the door unlocked. His walls were covered with photos of a house in Highland Park. Jeff's daily schedule was written in red marker. My mouth went dry. I grabbed the address and drove there with shaking hands. Danny's car was parked 1 street over. The house was dark except for one lit window. I heard voices and crept closer. Through the window, I saw Danny in a room full of display cases. Jeff stood by a wall, safe, holding a graded Charizard. "50,000 cash," Jeff said, then looked Danny up and down. "Wait, I know you. You're the crazy guy from Atlantic City." He laughed, the one crying about his dead daddy. Danny pulled out a thick envelope. "I have 30,000 and my car." Jeff glanced at the window. "That piece of junk? No thanks." He waved the card in Danny's face. "Your dad couldn't afford this and neither can you. Guess it runs in the family." Danny dropped to his knees. "Please." Jeff turned back to his safe. "Get out before I call the cops." Danny grabbed a metal display stand. "Tackle attack," he whispered. Jeff spun around just as Danny swung the stand into his temple. I pounded on the window screaming, but Danny was somewhere else. "Tackle attack," he said again, bringing the stand down on his body. Jeff tried to crawl away. "Tackle attack." Each word matched another swing. Blood covered the card sleeves scattered on the floor. I ran around looking for an unlocked door, but my legs felt like water. Through another window, I saw Danny cleaning the Charizard with his shirt. "Super effective," he whispered to Jeff's motionless body. My fingers kept missing numbers as I tried to call 911. When police arrived, Danny fought them like they were stealing from Dad's grave. Even after 3 tasers, his fingers wouldn't let go of that card. Danny got 7 years. I bought a first edition Charizard online and slipped it into Dad's binder. It felt wrong, but necessary. Last week, he grabbed my wrist hard during visitation. "Sun and Moon releases next month. Dad would want those." His eyes had that look again.